Okay, six ikitamiksissukuki kitokanaaksamatsamoqpuau nistuakokotaqkito pikanqsissukuaqteipoyopa omarkan ki at the pulp. Okay, students. It's a good day and I greet you all kitokanaaksamatsamoqpuau. And today we're going to be talking about traveling and places that we go. May. And here it is. Travel. So just in this lesson, we'll talk about traveling, related grammar, and then in the links below, you could find a practice worksheet for the grammar. So let's first start with a conversation about omahkan, a trip. It'll be between Tsaotsi and Sowi, two male characters. First up, Tsaotsi says, okay, Tansti siakita pop, spikes, spike wax. Okay, Tansti siakita pop, spike wax. Then Zoe says, Amatskni Chachta Antok ni boys. Then Tsaotsi says, Chakanistomachkaup. Ta akanistomachkaup. And Zoe says, Aksikshikayo. Then Tsaotsi says, Ta iksepisi. Zoe says, Aksapop. Aksapop aputta. Aksapop aputta. Tsaotsi says, Sa ikokuto aputtes. So he says, Aksapop is simnakas. Tsaotsi says, Mataxi tishpa is simnakas. So he says, Aksapop axistomatomachka. Tsaotsi then says, Sukapi. So he says, Han. So now we'll go over it in English. Tsaotsi says, okay. Tansti siakta pop spike wax. Hello, okay. Tansti. When akita pop are we going? When are we going to spike wax? Spike wax means Mexico. So Tsaotsi says, when are we going to Mexico? Tansti siakita pop spike wax. And Zoe says, Matskani, I don't know. Chachta antok ni boys. Perhaps this summer. Antok means this, and then ni boys means when it is summer. And then chachta just means perhaps. Then Tsaotsi says, Takanistomachkaup, which means how are we going to travel? Sa akanistomachkaup. What is the way that we're going to travel? So he says, Aksikshikayo. He's joking and he says, we'll walk or let's walk. Aksikshikayo. And then so he says, Ta iksipiste. No, it's too far. Iksipiste. It's very far. So he then says, Aksapopop aputta. Aksapopop means let's ride aputta, the plane. Let's go by plane. Aksapopop aputta. And then Tsaotsi says, Sa ikaktub aputest. Ikaktub means it's very expensive. It costs a lot. And then aputest planes. So planes cost a lot. And then Tsaotsi says, Aksapopop is tsinnakas. Aksapopop means let's ride or we will ride. Istinakas, the train. And then Tsaotsi said, Matayxi tip istinakas. Matayxi tip means I don't like. And then istinakas again means the train. Then Tsaotsi says, Aksapopop axtomatomachka. Aksapopop again means let's ride or we will ride. And then axistomatomachka means a car. or literally means starts to travel on its own. Just kind of an etymology, just some etymology I'd like to share. Axis tumattumaka is one way to say a car, and it means it starts to run on its own, essentially. Starts to run for no reason. And then Saltsi says, sukapi. Yes, good. But when we say, sukapi, it's more than yes, good. It's kind of saying, I agree. That's good. Or, yeah, it works. Sounds good, even. And so he says, hun. Hun, we use a lot, and it means, kind of just means, there it is. I agree. So they're just kind of agreeing with each other. So these are two different kinds of ways that you can agree with in Blackfeet. Say, suka. It sounds good. But hun, I agree. And then here's a couple grammar points. With riding vehicles, the way that we say to ride a vehicle, we say sapolpi. Sapolpi. And it's pretty simple. It's just the verb. Sapolpi means to sit inside. And so anytime we're talking about a vehicle that you get inside of, we say sapolp. Sapolpi. Aksapolp. We will sit inside the train. Aksapolp aputta. We will sit inside the plane. And then whatnot. So whenever you're talking about a vehicle, we say sapolp, which means to sit within. And then the other one was the inclusive we that we saw a lot. And so the inclusive we see it every time that we see ulp at the end of a word. Ulp. And it means we. And what I mean by inclusive we, it's talking about a we that's including the listener. So in Blackfoot, there are two different kinds of we. One is if I'm talking to you and I say the exclusive we, talking about me and somebody else. But if I'm talking to you and use the inclusive we, then I'm talking about me and you and I. Maybe somebody else, but it's just specifying that you are a part of what I'm talking about. So for instance, I could say, Nita kita pohpinan, we will go somewhere. Like she and I. So if I'm telling you, Nita kita pohpinan, we're gonna go somewhere. I'm talking about me and then whoever else. You could say, takpo kita pohpinan. Or sorry. So if I tell you, Nita kita pohpinan, nistuki nitaka, me and my friend are gonna go somewhere. That would work with this exclusively, because I'm not including you as the listener. But if I say akita pop, say me and you will go somewhere. And that could just literally mean me and you go somewhere, akita pop. But it can also be kind of as a command to say, let's go somewhere. Akita pop, let's go somewhere. Akita pop can mean either you and I will go somewhere or let's go somewhere. Either way makes sense. And you might also notice that I took off the nit when I said akitapo. And so we kind of conjugate it in the third person. And so we don't add anything to the beginning. So akitapo means we'll go somewhere. And then this ending op is just the conjugation for you and I, the inclusive we. Another example, nitoishpinan, we are eating. Nitoishpinan, as in me and somebody else are eating. So if you came in as who I'm talking to and you said, what are you guys doing? I could say, nitoishpinan, me and whoever else is eating. But if I'm talking to you, I could say, oyo, we're eating. And it wouldn't make sense for me to tell you, oyo, we're eating. You and I are eating, because you'd already know that we're eating. But we could also use oyop to say, let's eat. Oyop. Oyop. You and I are eating. Oyop. And then cultural point. There's no specific cultural point for this lesson. So genye. And then hitakitu matsu no hoppo.